Hello, my dear students. Welcome to the chapter 5, The Mask, in your course book. In this module, you're going to comprehend the text and scan for details. You're going to learn what is finite verb and what is infinite verbs. And you will be able to distinguish between finite verbs and infinite verbs. Now, this is the author of our chapter, Satyajit Ray. He is a very famous personality in Indian cinema. He was born on May 2nd, 1921 in Calcutta, India and died on April 23rd, 1992 in Calcutta. He is a Bengali motion picture director, writer and illustrator who brought the Indian cinema to the world recognition with Padher Panjali in 1955, the song of the road. The meaning of the Padher Panjali is the song of the road, and its two sequels known as the Appu trilogy. So Padher Panchali and two other movies. It is a continuation of the other two movies were the continuation of Padher Panchali. So Padher Panchali and the other two movies together it's called Appu trilogy. Three movies. And he has done many other movies and he has wrote many other stories. He is a very, very famous personality in Indian cinema. So now let's see what the lesson is about. This is the warm-up exercise. I hope you all like mystery stories. We all like mystery stories. We are very curious to learn about, to read mystery stories, to learn what is the ending, how the story is going to end, such things, because it keeps us very tensed and in suspense. So now your warm-up exercises. When you hear about mystery stories, what all comes to your mind? Just fill in the spider diagram. Okay. This story takes place in Darjeeling, where Feluda and Topshay are holidaying. Feluda is a private detective, while his cousin Topshay is the narrator of the story. One evening, while sitting at the mall, Topshay accidentally overhears Rajan Babu, an amiable old man living a peaceful, retired life in Darjeeling, confiding in Tinkori Babu, his tenant, about a threatening letter that he had received by post. Thinking that it may require investigation, Topshay tells Feluda about it. The story begins with Feluda and Topshay visiting Rajan Babu. So, this is the introduction to the story. Feluda and Topshay. Feluda is a private detective and his Topshay is his cousin. They are spending their holidays in Darjeeling. It's a beautiful hill station in India, so people go there to spend the vacation. So Feluda and Topshay, they both are spending their vacation in Darjeeling. One day, as Topshay was sitting at the mall here means a path in a hill station, a path straight like place in a hill station. On both the sides there will be foodies, food stalls or shops, many things like that. So he was sitting on a bench or something in that street, in the path. That is a mall here, not the other shopping mall. So when he was sitting there, he happens to hear two people talking. The two people were Rajan Babu and Tinkori Babu. Tinkori Babu was Rajan Babu's tenant. They were talking to each other about a threatening letter that he received. About a threatening letter that Rajan Babu received. He was confiding in Tinkori Babu. Confiding in means telling his secret, disclosing his secret to Tinkori Babu, asking him not to tell this to anyone else. So our Topshay happens to hear this and he go and tell this to the private detective Feluda. So the story begins when they both go to visit Rajan Babu's house. Now let's see what is there in the story. Rajan Babu's house had a lovely old world charm. Cane furniture and strange masks adorned the living room. Very recently, Rajan Babu had developed an interest in antiques and curios and had started collecting them. So, see, Satyajit Ray has beautifully described Rajan Babu's house. So, it has lovely old world charm. We feel like we are in an old world when we go into Rajan Babu's house. So there were cane furniture, bamboo furniture, and there were different kinds of masks on the walls. I hope you know what is a mask. Many kind of masks were on the wall, and Rajan Babu had developed recently. He had developed the habit of collecting antiques. Antique means old pieces, very old pieces of. Very old showpieces and curios also rare pieces that one would like to collect it. It would add to their collections. So he had this habit. As it turned out, Rajan Babu had once helped Feluda's father, so he willingly took up Feluda's offer to help him find out who had sent the threatening letter. He was just about to tell us about it when Tinkuri Babu joined us. Introducing himself as Rajan Babu's tenant, Tinkuri Babu said, I did hesitate to move into Rajan's house as I have a special weakness for cheroots. Only when he said that he did not mind the smell of cheroots did I accept the offer. Feluda turned to Rajan Babu and asked, Do you have the letter here? Rajan Babu took it out of his pocket. It was not handwritten. The words, Be prepared to pay for your misdeeds, had been cut out from newspapers and pasted there. Rajan Babu said, It was posted in Darjeeling. Unfortunately, I threw the envelope away. Feluda asked, Do you suspect anyone? Does anyone visit you regularly? No, I can't recall ever harming anyone, and I don't get too many visitors. Dr. Phony Mitra comes occasionally, only when I am ill, and Mr. Abhani Mohan Ghoshal has recently started visiting me. So they started talking about about the letter. Once Rajan Babu had helped Feluda's father. So now when Feluda came and offered his help, Rajan Babu accepted it. He understood that he is trying to repay the gratitude that he has that Feluda has towards him for helping his father. So he accepted the offer. He accepted it because he thought that Feluda is genuine because he is just repaying the gratitude. And now, when they were about to talk about the letter, Tinkuri Babu entered, the tenant. He entered and he introduced that I am the tenant living here. And in the beginning, I was hesitant. I was a little bit reluctant to come accept this offer of Rajan Babu to stay here as a tenant because I have the bad habit of smoking cheroots. Cheroots means it's like cigars. It's a thick one, not just like cigarette, but it is thick and brown in color. It's something people smoke. So he told, as I had this bad habit, I was hesitant to accept the offer. But Rajan Babu told that he doesn't mind the smell of the cheroot. So I accepted the offer. I accepted to stay here. So Feluda turned to Rajan Babu and he asked about the letter. He showed the letter. He took the letter and showed it to him. It was written, Be prepared to pay for your misdeeds, which means you have to be ready to suffer for your bad actions. That's the meaning. So, and it was not handwritten. These words were cut out from a newspaper and pasted it on a paper, the letter. So Rajan Babu further told that it was posted in Darjeeling, but unfortunately he threw away the envelope, so he couldn't make out anything from the envelope. He already threw it off. So Feluda asked, "Do you have any enemies, or do you suspect someone? And are there many visitors here?" So Rajan Babu said that I haven't harmed anyone knowingly. I don't remember in my life I have ever harmed a person. So I don't have much enemies. I don't suspect anyone. And I don't have much visitors also here. Only 2 persons are here visiting here regularly. Only 2 persons are there for me as visitors. One is my doctor, Dr. Phony Mitra, and he comes only when I'm sick. Otherwise, he doesn't visit the house. But recently, I have a new visitor. He visits regularly. That is Mr. Abhani Mohan Ghoshal. That is my new visitor. Just then, Mr. Ghoshal walked in. He was an expert in antiques and wanted to examine the authenticity of an antique bell that Rajan Babu had bought. After Mr. Ghoshal had left, Feluda advised Rajan Babu to stay at home for the next few days. As we got up to leave, Feluda moved towards the mantelpiece to take a close look at the three photographs there. Rajan Babu explained that the first one was his wife's photograph, the second one was of himself as a child, and the third one was of his son Prabir. When we met Tinkori Babu in a coffee shop the next day, he said, I think Ghoshal is a crook. He pretends to be interested in arts and antiques, but I think he only wants to buy them cheap here and sell them to foreigners at a higher rate. So, as they were talking about the visitors, Ghoshal came in and he came to check the genuineness. Authenticity means whether it is original or not. He came to check whether there was a recent purchase of Rajan Babu. It was an antique bell, the usual bell which you see. So he came to check in whether it is original or duplicate, and when he left, Feluda told him not to go out for a few days. You have to be at home for a few days. Don't go out because this threat is there. And when they got up to leave, they saw Feluda moved towards the mantelpiece. Mantelpiece means there'd be a fireplace, the frame of the fireplace, which is made of wood. That is a mantelpiece. So he went, and there were a few photographs above the mantelpiece. One was of Rajan Babu's wife, one was his own picture, Rajan Babu's picture when he was a child, and the other one was his son's picture. So they just had a look at the pictures and they left. The next day they met Tinkori Babu in the coffee shop. Feluda and his cousin met Tinkori Babu in the coffee shop, and he said that actually Ghoshal seems to be a crook. He's not a right person. He has some kind of mischief, some kind of means he's a crook. I think he acts as if he is very interested in antiques, but the thing is that he wants to buy it cheap from Rajan Babu, or get it cheap, the antique pieces, and sell it to foreigners at a higher rate. That is his intention actually. Now that's all for today. These are the self-check questions. First one, why did Rajan Babu accept Feluda's offer to help him find out who had sent the threatening letter? Second one, why did Tinkori Babu hesitate to move into Rajan Babu's house? Third one, according to Rajan Babu, who were his visitors? Fourth one, what was Ghoshal's intention according to Tinkori Babu? Try answering these questions. Now this is the vocabulary section. Just go through these words. Try to use these words in proper context. Try to make sentences with these words. Today, let's learn. You all know what is verbs. Now let's learn what is finite verb and non-finite verbs. Verbs means action words, but there are two types of verbs. First one is finite verb. A verb which shows time, or a verb which is limited by number, person and gender of the subject is known as finite verb. Means the finite verb will change depending on the number of persons, depending on the time of action, depending on what the subject is. All this will make changes in finite verbs. For example, see Neha, one person. Neha is one single person, so Neha writes. Write and S is added with write. S is added with the verb. Writes letters. When it becomes they, it is more than one person, that S is removed from the verb. See, that S is removed from write. They write letter. Neha writes letters. So it changes. When it is we, again, when the time is different. This is present tense. These two are in present tense. When it is in present perfect, again it changes. Write becomes have written. See, it changes with the time. Here this changes with the subject. Neha and they, these are the subjects. So the verb changes with the subject. Here it is changed depending on the time. So the finite verbs changes depending on the subject, on the time, on what a subject is, the number of the subject, number of persons, like that. It keeps on changing. But in case of non-finite verbs, a verb that does not show time or a verb which is not limited by a number, person and tense of the subject is known as non-finite verb. So non-finite verbs does not change with the subject or time or number, anything. It does not change. See, Raman tries to sing. Sing is the non-finite verb here. We try to sing. Here again, sing is the finite verb. It does not change. They try to sing. Again, it does not change. See? So, this is the non-finite verb which does not change. And here, tries is the finite verb. It changes. Raman tries. We try. Like that. They have tried. If it is past present perfect, you can say they have tried. Like that, this verb changes, but this does not have any change. So this is the non-finite verb. See, finite verbs depend on person, number, subject, tense, everything. But non-finite verbs don't depend on person, number, subject or tense. Now this is your day. You have to complete grammar section A of page number 60 in your course book. Okay, that's all. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye. Love you all.